everybody. Well, welcome back. It's Thursday. It's our content day. I know we're running a little late, but I wanted to make sure I got something out for you guys this week, as I have for the last several years. Anyways, burning a SGNL, Steam Gauge and Lantern Company number 2 burner. This is a 1B Royal from about 1896. I've had this thing since last year, I'd say. Maybe, was it last year? Maybe it was tail end of 23, but anyways. This thing is original, as found condition. I did add the SGNL globe. You know, it's a beautiful piece. Good globe. But yeah, this is a nice 1896 era, maybe tail end of 95, early 96. It's post bottom stamp era. But yeah, it's just a beautiful piece. And I got it from a collector from the Tubular Lantern group. And he posted pictures of this thing and says, hey, if you ever want to sell that thing, let me know. And don't clean it. He's like, oh, okay. So he hits me up. He's like, hey, yeah, I'll sell it to you. I'm all right. Okay. So we talked about price and then made a deal. And there you go. And now it's here. And I enjoy it. I don't burn it nearly as much as maybe I would like to. But, you know, that's okay. Because I got plenty. I got plenty of things. Got plenty of lanterns to burn and enjoy it. It's good things because I'm not going to burn it every night. And of course I did when I first got it. Sorry, my nose is twitchy. It's, you know, being weird. But when I first got it, then yes, I was burning it almost every night. Putting different globes in it and enjoying it and everything. But now it's like, you know, I'll be out here, you know, enjoying the warmer evenings of the summer and burning a lantern and sitting in the alleyway and enjoying a little tobacco and having a little whiskey, you know. So it's nice. Aircraft. But anyways, this thing is cool. You know, SGNL, not a lot of people, a lot of newer collectors don't know SGNL, but I'll share it with you. Steam Gauge and Lantern Company was around for a while. And, you know, at one point, Charles Trafton Ham, CT Ham, you know, president of CT Ham, founder. Yeah, well, he was the president of SGNL for a hot minute. And then he eventually went off to create start his own business of tubular lantern stamping in about 1881, 82, somewhere around there. And no, excuse me, it wasn't that early. I think it was the tail end of the 80s. Yeah, I think it was like 86. Yeah, 86, 87 is when he started manufacturing lanterns. Some of his earliest patents were right around there. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. CT Ham lanterns are some of my favorite. I really enjoy their designs and they burn very well. And they're just handsome. Just beautiful pieces. But anyways, SGNL eventually was consumed by Dietz in 98. That's right. And the reason for that is because Dietz lost their manufacturing capabilities. Their main plant, their main factory in Manhattan burned down in a massive fire in 1897. Oh, jeez. So itchy. All of a sudden. Weird. Anyways. Yeah, 1897. They had a massive fire. And so to manufacture their lanterns and continue to make money, they moved operations to SGNL in Syracuse. Now, why they did that is because they did have holdings with SGNL. They were partner companies, more or less. And so by the time 1898 rolled around, they bought out SGNL and dissolved them and just, you know, continued making lanterns in Syracuse. They also did rebuild the manufacturing capabilities and factory in Manhattan. But they weren't making the bulk of their product there anymore. The bulk was definitely eventually from Syracuse. And yeah, it's fascinating history. But SGNL was dissolved in 98 and so forth. But yeah, it's interesting. When Dietz relaunched their Manhattan factory, they added a few different little design features to their, you know, their premium brand lanterns. So their square tubes they still had, but they added a little bit of a reinforcement bead on the face. So before 98, this wasn't there. This is a 98 invention. Reinforced outer face tubes on the top too as well. But they also had the cross wire guards, I think came in 97 for the Victor. But they also have the locking lift for the side lift. And yeah, still brass cone and burner and filler cap. But yeah, this is 98. And also, of course, the 98 globe in there. Pretty smart. Love this lantern. I love this thing. It is definitely a favorite, and it burns very well. And I enjoy it out here often. Yeah. But anyways, SGNL 1B Royal number 2 burner, gorgeous lantern. I love big number 2 hot blasts. They're a lot of fun, and this thing just, it's very stable. Look at the width of this skirt, for crying out loud. This thing will not tip over. No. In fact, funny story. I had this at a friend's house one night, and I took the old 40 Dodge out, and we sat in his little courtyard and burned a lantern or two and had a fun little night, had some whiskey and some tobacco, and just had a really nice, relaxing evening. Well, I didn't want to put the lantern out because it was burning so nice. And so I walked out to my car. I set it on the floor in the passenger area of the Dodge. And so I had a nice little lantern burning just softly on the floorboard in the Dodge. And I drove around and it didn't tip over at all. Because this skirt is so wide, it just, displaces. Yeah, it was very sturdy. Didn't tip over. I was like, oh, that's fine. It's not going to fall over. What are you talking about? But it's fun. It was nice. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyway, I love this piece. I need to burn it a little more often, I think. Yeah. Maybe I will put it on deck for the weekend. Yeah, I'll be out here hanging out occasionally. And it's been really nice. This summer has been very mild. It's actually going to be no more than 85, 86 today. Yesterday was lower than that. It was barely 80 degrees yesterday. And we had a real cloudy morning, all morning, until like 1 o'clock. It started to burn off. Yeah, we had a very mild day yesterday. But, yeah. I think I'll put this on deck for the weekend. Burn the 1B Royal. Yeah, why not, right? But it's got this beautiful old patina. I didn't do anything to it. I got it from fellow collector John D. Simone, I believe. It was John, yeah. I found it in upstate New York. Found it in an outbuilding on a piece of property up there, and was just hanging there. And the inside of the fountain's brilliant. It's brand new, like. It's just brand new shiny tin inside. It's really crazy. But it's all oxidized and dirty and just in a perfect state of arrested decay. Yeah, it's got that dark aged tin with the tiger striping type of, pattern in the air tubes. It's just, beautiful. Well, speaking of patina, I wanted to talk to you guys about something. Yeah. No, I'm not going to come down on anybody. It's not what I'm doing here. No. So I've been reflecting on a lot of things. I have been. Over this last week, since my last video, I've read a lot of amazing comments. The last video, I'm actually pretty proud of that video. I actually really liked that particular video about patina and how nature will distress something, and it has different patterns in the way something is distressed. And untouched, unrestored lanterns, some of them have a lot of similarities, but there's always a different condition each lantern is in, how it's traveled through time. And that OVB is definitely one that really wears its travel clothes pretty well, in my opinion. And a lot of you guys shared some very nice comments on that video, and I enjoy reading them. And I react to them, and sometimes I'll reply if I have the time. But I do read the comments, and I appreciate you guys sharing with me, the things that you've learned and the things that you've gained appreciation for, maybe because of me. And that's really important. I do appreciate that, and it. I've come to know that I've created a really interesting, special community with this channel. I get messages from some of you on my Facebook. Some of you have reached out to me on Facebook, and I've added you guys as friends, and you've expressed your gratitude for my channel. Because, there's other lantern content people like Ken and a few others. And I enjoy their channels. I enjoy what they do, and they do a good job. And I respect them greatly. But I've been told that I have a unique approach about this stuff. And and appreciate that. And I think what's lacking in our world today is just simple conversation. And I always found it nice to do that around the warm light of an old lantern. And every time I've been in a social setting and I bring a lantern for like an outside function, we all end up sitting around one lantern and we start talking and sharing things. There's something about that little flame. It's very calming, very soothing light, and we can sit in the evening air and talk about stuff, whatever comes up. Share jokes, talk about feelings and stuff even. It's very interesting how this little lamp will do that. It does it. And, well, I was getting some really positive feedback from my special lady friend. And she watches my channel. And she's watching right now, I'm sure. But she was expressing her appreciation for that video too. And she agrees with my aesthetics and reasons why I don't clean or overly protect or restore a lantern. And, you know, because it's time that you're rubbing off. You're taking away time. It's travel through history. Of course, there's examples that I do clean and whatever, but that's beside the point. But anything like this, I mean, you know, it has a nice pattern. It's oxidized. It shows a real patina, you know, and it's not any danger of being lost to time because of oxidation or rust, or corrosion. But no, I appreciated her comments, and you know, we also went on to talk about you know, what I'm doing with this channel, and I've often questioned what it is about an antique lantern that draws a lot of people in, or has drawn people in. Well, I've noticed that there's a lot of positivity in the hobby. Everyone that posts a picture of a lantern, everybody's very positive about it. And some people voice their personal tastes, but they do it respectfully. And we all have a conversation. It's one of the most positive places on Facebook is the Tubular Lantern Collectors Group. And of course that spills over to the other lantern groups like the Antique Lantern Collectors Group and so forth, or wicked lanterns and stuff like that. There's definitely a vibe, a theme amongst lantern collectors that I've noticed that doesn't exist in other hobbies or other collecting hobbies. Now there's definitely, of course, great people in every hobby or collecting circle, but it seems like the Tubular Lantern Group is concentrated of very, you know, special people that are kind and thoughtful and unique. And we celebrate and we enjoy seeing other people's collection. There's really not much of a competition amongst collectors. You know, of course we see things that we like that we'd love to have as well, but, you know, it's like, hey, well, if you ever want to sell it, just let me know. You know, we're not going to double down on somebody to get something that we want ultimately. Now, of course, that can happen, and it's not saying it doesn't, but the overall experience I've had in this hobby is very positive. And I was talking about this with my lady, and she's like, I wonder why that is. I says, well, you know what, I think I know. Because we seek light. We focus on that little flame. It brings us in. We're kind of moth people, if you will. But we gather around a flame, and we are enriched by the conversations and the experiences we have with people that we know around a lantern. We seek light. You know, I mean, it's kind of obvious to me. Yeah, and most of the comments I've ever gotten in any of my videos have been pretty positive and very encouraging. And I watch a lot of content on YouTube, and I see a lot of comments that are not very kind or polite on some things. And of course, they're either, you know, political content or comedy content or whatever it is. But there's always a very obvious presence of negativity. And I think there's a lot of people that would do very well on YouTube, but they don't because they are afraid of that negativity. Well, I've learned to combat certain negativity in my life. And, to those hopeful potential YouTube content providers, I want to share my experiences with creating this. And originally, it was just to share lanterns with Bob the Lantern Guy because I didn't have any other way of doing it until we became friends on Facebook, and then eventually he passed away in mid 2022. During the pandemic, other health complications, not COVID related, but anyways. I became comfortable sitting in front of the camera just because I was just looking at a lens. And I felt that I could actually be myself in front of this camera. I started just recording me sharing these lanterns, and I discovered I'm really myself more so in front of this camera than I was up to that point with my own relationships. And, what you see here is me. I'm not being anybody else. No, it's just me. And I've gotten a lot of positive comments, and people have reached out through Facebook and whatnot, have thanked me for doing what I do. And it's not only just lantern history, it's also, conversations. And a little bit of you guys know what's happening in my life currently, and that's fine. It's great. I'm always happy to share. Things are good. Things are feeling really good and very positive, and I have someone very special in my life now, and I'm very excited about that. Especially knowing that she watches the channel. I love it. But anyways, it's all about just being your natural, authentic self. Now, in many cases, that might be scary to some people because they don't want to feel rejection. Well, you're going to always be faced with people that are going to be critical, and they're going to share their opinion whether you want it or not. And it's not always going to be a very kind opinion because those people have a lack of kindness because of their own experiences in life, and they feel like throwing negativity towards somebody they really don't know is going to make them feel better about themselves, whatever the case is. It's all psychological, really, it is. But I've learned that I can't read all the comments. If it starts off in a kind of a negative tone, then I kind of gloss over it and whatever. But that's the internet. The internet's going to have a lot of trolls, no matter what. But I think I have a pretty good subscriber base here with this channel. But I know that some people can be very apprehensive about starting YouTube if they wanted to do, because they're afraid of being criticized. And I understand that. I sympathize with that. But the nice thing is that you can delete those comments if you wish. You can keep your house tidy and focused on the light if you want. But, I've learned not to give the power to negativity, because mentally we do have the choice to accept it and allow it to affect us. We don't always have to allow that. We have the choice. We make the decision with whatever comes into our sphere. Whether it's positive or negative, we can reject it if we don't appreciate it. So I'll just leave it with that. But, I've felt more comfort in being myself in front of this camera, and I'm really glad that I've created a community that's centered around light. I have friends that watch my channel that aren't lantern people, but they enjoy the channel. They enjoy what I do, and I appreciate their comments. I appreciate them sharing with me that they appreciate my contributions to YouTube, and it goes a long way. It really does. And I just want to say thank you for all the wonderful comments and the very kind, sweet reactions that I I get from you guys. It's not everyone that subscribes. No, it's not. I have over 1,000 subscribers, and I think I only hear from probably a quarter of you guys. But for me, it's not about the numbers. It really isn't. It's about sharing passions and hearing from the people that appreciate what I do. And that's what it really is for me. It is. So thank you for continuing to be with me and enjoy what I provide here. And it does go a long way. So yeah, I take a time in a moment to share that with you guys. I know I made a comment on the last video thanking everyone the same way, but I felt I should do it publicly here in the Time Cave. And yeah, thank you. Means a lot. So that being said, I'm going to wrap things up. We're running a little long, but stay tuned next week. We'll be back again, sharing something else. More history, more tubular fanciness. Have a great weekend, everybody. I know I will. And we'll see you again in a week's time. And this fly better be not part of my video the next time. Jeez. Get out of here. All right. Take it easy. See you again. Bye. Sit, boo boo, sit. Good dog.